guys fake, use your brain.
Garage Chats, episode 2. Ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll. Who do we have on here today?
Can you hear us from over here?
Oh yeah.
Popping up?
Come on in, boys. Introduce yourselves.
Well, my name's Reid. This is Nate.
I'm Nate.
And these two boys are not only just guests of our podcast today, these two boys are not even guests, but esteemed members of our lives, of our family units. These guys are stitching in the fabric of our lives.
Members of the noble court.
Noble court.
There's nothing noble about me, pal.
Yeah, these boys have been around forever, man. Like, why don't we all just, like... Because I'm interested. I actually don't know this. This is an interesting one. How everybody in this fucking room met.
Man. Trip down memory lane.
Trip down memory lane. Reader, how'd we meet? Buddy, I know.
Buddy,
I remember the day.
Oh, I don't even know, grade 5, 6?
Yes. So, I mean, obviously we met, grade 4.
Yeah.
Passing. Boys were staring.
Seen you on the football field.
Yeah, I knew who you were. Grade 4, I came to Kamloops. Grade 3, I came to Kamloops. But grade 4, I went to Aberdeen. After a teacher threw a chair at me and tipped my desk, Miss Foster. I'm the chair kid from Packway, if anybody noticed. It's actually crazy. Still get that, dude.
A little bit of hidden lore.
Literal huge lore. Yeah, moved to Aberdeen. Met a bunch of people. Reader and I were in different classes. Miss Rimmer.
Yeah, I was missing.
I was Miss Doherty.
Yeah.
Miss Rimmer.
Miss Rimmer. Yes.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes. Hold on. No, Ms. Rimmer. let's just clarify that.
Past that one.
Yeah, let's glide past that. Yeah, and then I don't know. It was grade 5, and we had Reid was our mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing about this Reid guy. I'm like, who the fuck is Reader? Obviously knew this tall fucking guy with an afro. Impossible to miss back in the day. Guy was the first guy to hit 5'10". Also the first guy to have a stupid afro on his head. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and the last guy.
And the last guy, only guy. Buddy, walking home, see Reader in his yard, playing hockey. I knew him as a basketball kid. I'm like, really? Street hockey, hey? I play hockey. You got a stick? Dude, I grab a stick. Fuck. Go out, I'm like, give me a 1T. I, back up so far, dude, to, the corner of fucking McIntyre, dude. I swear, in the middle of the road. Dishes me this 1T, dude. Boom! Right along the ground. Hits the little curb lip right in front of his place. Goes straight up, smashes his gutter, dude, and literally, shatters his gutters.
Oh, buddy, we've had a frozen driveway every winter since 2009, bud. 8.
Legitimately.
Gutter just got fixed last week.
It did get fixed. I saw that. It was last year, wasn't it? Was it more recent?
No, that was a month ago.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Well, legitimately since 2006 or 2007. Every time I went by Reader's place, his gutter was fucked up, in bad condition, dude. Just because I took a fucking clapper, dude.
His parents literally waited until they were like, all right, street hockey's over.
Yeah.
You go over on Christmas and pull up a stick.
that was their wedding present at Blake's wedding, was we'll get the gutters done. Boys are done playing.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah. What's up, Reader and Matt? How'd you boys meet? Dylan and Nate.
Man, I actually met Nate before I met Reader.
Yeah.
I've known Nate for better part of a decade, actually. Thinking back on it.
2014, early 2015.
Yeah. So through a mutual friend, Logan.
That's a while ago.
Yeah.
And so when I was in university.
Quick pause. What's the name of Logan's company?
Taproot Ferment.
What is it?
Taproot Ferment.
Taproot Ferments, Kamloops. This guy whips up some crazy beers.
Buchas.
Same thing. I don't drink, so beers, buchas. This guy.
Bullets.
Silver bullets?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's what
I bought a couple at the Kamloops market from him, and they're literally just untagged silver bullets, dude. So shout out Taproot Ferments and Logan Defoe.
He's a great guy, and it was when I was in university at Thompson Rivers for the first time, and met Nate. Nate was friends with Logan, moved into town, and like was staying with Logan for a little while. And so originally met him through there, and then like kept in touch over years following that, and like just super fortunate. Had an awesome time.
Yeah, just echoing exactly what Dylan has to say. It goes way back with all of these boys, even though we're not always hanging out together, we've got those relationships where we always come back to each other and talk to each other about real life problems and real life shit. And so it's dope. It's almost a brotherhood of sorts for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I met Reid like around a year or 2 years following that, realistically.
Probably 2016.
Through some other mutual friends, and just like, man, fast friends, like similar to story with Joey, man, like, you meet and like you just get sometimes you just get a great shake from a person. Like you go in, same thing it was with Nate, man. It's like easy conversations, like you chat like you feel like you've been boys for like a year when you've been chilling with each other for an hour. And like that's kind of something I want to touch on, because I feel like you see so much with like this new generation of people, specifically young people, where like, like it's so rare to have those longer term relationships and those longer term friendships that aren't just kind of this like transient experience, but are actually like, you don't see someone, or you don't chat with someone for like, 3 or 4 years, and then you see them in person and it's like there's no time lost. It's like you're immediately just right back in where it was. Like that's a rare experience.
Let me dive into that. Why? I mean, I have no data to back up the claim that like the younger generation is like struggling to form long-term relationships. You might have read that in your studies still. But like just from like anecdotal experience, I look at that and I look at like all of these relationships in these rooms and like guys that I consider like my boys, like were forged in the fire.
Oh yeah.
in a sense of the word, like like there's fuck, that vape is crazy. It's like brushing my teeth, dude. That's insane. No, I don't know. I feel like that. There's so many people nowadays. People are so disconnected from each other now more than ever. But it's like, I mean, I got buddies that like, all I do is play Xbox with them or like snap them and keep a streak going or something like that. And like, they're buddies of buddies that I have that I consider them my friend. Like, by all means, we're friends. But like, they're buddies with a guy that I forged something in the flames with, like in person, doing something we should not be doing. Like the other day I went for a drive and I saw kids playing. Dude, where was I? Where have I been lately? We were when we were in New Brunswick.
Oh yeah.
Kevin and I, we were small town, Miramichi, dude. They're like population like 4,000. My brother and I were driving down the road. Dude, there was kids like, they looked like they were playing Kill, dude. Like, they were, like, just sprinting after each other through this park. There's, like, a bunch of them, like, and it's, like, a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And it's, like, I don't know, they were, like, 12, 13. So, like, dude, I literally was like, Kev, look at that. And he, like, stopped. I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, there's kids playing outside. You just don't see that anymore. Like, obviously, toddlers and, like, young kids who are forced to, but, like, as soon as you give a kid their own whatever, like that, like autonomy, they're gonna just like hop on their phone and watch shorts, do iPad, and like fucking, play Roblox with their buddies. And like, yeah, man, I feel like that's why we may not be seeing these long-term friendships. And like, I look at it just like canon events when I met you boys, bringing it back full circle. Like, Reader had my best buddy at the dude, like, still, obviously to this day, I was saying at the time, but like, man, I was chilling with this guy every day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, I'm like chilling at like these boys' house. I don't know these boys. Like, so I just like for like a month, and I'm like, all right, something's got to give. So I go over, and I'm like, everyone's getting a cheeser, dude. Like, everyone's getting a cheeser. Had to do something for the boys, man. We just had this like moment together, and literally, what was that? 2016, 2017?
2016.
Yeah, probably.
I think, or like early 2017.
I think
something
10 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Like, and the boys are still chilling.
What's crazy is that like, yeah, we are all hanging with those boys, but we then like we don't talk to any of those boys anymore, and all of us still talk and hang out.
Yeah. Let's unpack that, because I wanted to bring up a point about, like, how, like, about how, like, you mentioned about how the distance and all these things, man, and, like, how, like, it can go, like, the differences in friendships, like, again, does that just, like, come down to experience?
Life experience, perhaps, or even just
shared
nature versus
experience.
nurture. At the end of the day, is it who we are, or is it what we've experienced?
Well, I mean, like, that experience in particular, when I met Nate and Dill and, like, this huge group of boys, Logan Defoe, you know, Dan Moen, you know, like, all these guys, there was, like, as far as I was concerned, there was 13 guys living under one roof.
Yep.
And, like, there was so many unique, like, individual friendships, interconnected, and, like, separate little bubbles inside of that group. And both specifically went very different ways.
Yeah.
But sometimes I have friends, just throwing that point out to chat about, that I could hit up that I haven't seen in like 12 plus years, 13 plus years, and it's like that. We're just right back to it, like it's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like a sign again of like those kind of long-standing, like way more intimate type relationships. Like I'll kind of approach what you were talking about from this angle, which is I think people move through phases of life at different paces and at different times. And I think that, you know, especially when you're like a young guy, like for a lot of these times that you were describing, you know, it's like your early 20s, like this time where you kind of have like unmitigated amounts of personal freedom, unmitigated amounts of like, you know, scheduling or not scheduling, and just kind of having that like hang time. And, you know, that phase of life really pays into like that experience of just having that like unmitigated, totally open schedule to connect with people. And then I think, you know, as life gets more complicated, as, you know, you get more responsibilities, more accountability, whether that's with your role, your family, you know, the things you're working on in your own life, you know, those phases start to fall out of sync with one another. And so that's, I think by some part of it, like you asked earlier to the group, like what's the cause of this? What causes that dissonance? And I think by and large, it's like a natural force of like movement away. But as you mentioned, like just recently, having those types of relationships where even when that phase break happens, you can just reach out and like same day someone's getting back to you being like, oh, hey bud, like great to hear from you, man. How's shit? And there's no weirdness, there's no awkwardness, there's no like bridging of distance. It's like you reach out and you're right there. And I think that's like a really unique experience that, by what I was mentioning earlier, right? I think that because we have so many ways to connect with people superficially, you know, you think of how easy it is to have like a Facebook group and you've got like, you know, 12 or 15 boys in a Facebook group.
Xbox live chat.
Live chats, right? It's like we have so many ways to have very convenient, very surface level connection, either with audio, video, however it is. But like, I think because of that method of connection, we have fewer and fewer opportunities to have that like truly high context, you know, one-on-one or group-based like social interaction, where you're getting that high context feedback when, you know, you're not just hearing from a bottled response someone has, but you're actually getting to like sit with them, you're watching them, you know, you're seeing their facial expressions as they chat with you. Like those kind of high context communications are fewer and fewer, I think, as your life gets more and more complicated, more complex.
And on that point, as people's lives get more complex and more Xbox Live party chats and Roblox servers open up, you know where people are not? Outside.
Yes.
We gotta get out more. I went to a park, provincial park, went for a lap around McConnell.
That was an ad read.
I didn't see a single fucking person, dude.
Well,
Provincial park, no one.
It's funny when I hear people say that, because for me and Nate, it's like, I want to be inside, man. I'm outside all day, all year. It's like, holy, it's not hard, you know? It's like...
And that adds to the thing, like, you were just gone for months.
Oh, yeah.
Months, both of you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
You came back. Boys are chilling.
Oh, boys are chilling. Yeah.
Things are right back to normal.
Yeah, well, I think Dill said it really good, and I think it's kind of as you get older, you mature, and you kind of, like, crave quality over quantity in terms of, like, your interaction with people, and you kind of realize, like, you can get more, less is more in the sense of the amount of people, but then it gives you more time for the people you really want to spend your time with, you know? And so, like, as much as, like, some relationships can kind of go to the wayside, other ones can kind of, like, grow more, you know? And leaves more room for the ones that you kind of really need. And I think it's not so much coming from the other person, but when getting older and, like, all that stuff, it kind of comes from yourself, you know? Everybody on the individual level, so... But Dill said it great, you know.
Yeah, and adding to that, like with where we're heading here, it's just like kind of like this idea of surrounding yourself with like-minded people at certain phases of your life. Is this what Nate pointed out, like intrinsically nature versus nurture? Do we naturally form, like humans are tribal? Are we, as we age into our 30s, into our reproductive years, into our building years, are we naturally weeding out our tribe?
Yeah.
Just instinctually.
Totally. I think we meet so many people and have so many different friends, but a lot of these friends, in our younger years especially, it's more of a superficial level where you have
combat time.
Yeah, you have a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
It's stimulation. It's
Yeah.
a good time. It's forming
Testing the
experiences.
boundaries. Yeah.
But then in these friend groups, you're going to find individuals who you have shared ideals with.
Yeah.
And then other individuals where you have shared like core ideals with, and you're kind of on the same wavelength, or your lives are aligned.
It's
in
almost
some
like
form or another.
moral sparring in your young years with all these people.
Totally, and you can kind of sense that, and then so you hold on to those or remember that, and then as you grow and you see the other people growing as well, and as time goes on, those bonds are formed and you feel them, and so you're gonna. It's not that we're filtering people out, but time goes by faster and faster. Our lives get busier and busier, and so those connections have more of an emotional bond, and you're gonna gravitate towards those and just think about those more naturally, I think.
I wonder how much subconsciously, because I agree, like I think about that and I'm like, yeah, all the people like in this room, like I have like emotional connection to, but I also like wonder subconsciously, like we are humans, like we're all trying to get to the top of whatever ladder we choose to put in front of us. Do we, along with these emotional connections, like suss out and select these like life partners or life like brothers for like selfish reasons as well? Like this person is great at XYZ. I'm going to keep them in my back pocket subconsciously because they're going to help my community grow.
I think it goes
Or is it all emotional?
both ways.
How much do you think which way's which?
Like, I bet you each one of us would probably argue, like, Reid, I'd argue you bring out a better version of me, and I bring out the best in you in times.
I wouldn't argue
in
with you
certain
there, bud.
situations.
Totally.
And likewise for Dylan, and
Yeah.
likewise for Joey. And so it's more of a symbiotic relationship, I think.
100%.
At
Yeah.
least if you're a normal, like, well-balanced, mentally
Non-psychopathic individual,
it's not
yeah.
just a take. But
Yeah.
when you need to, you can take, we can give, and we can
100%.
learn from each other.
I think that's a really good point. Like, I think there are certainly people that engage in their personal relationships with more of like an exploitative angle, kind of like a what's in it for me.
Totally.
But I think that type of thinking, it's like painfully short term, in that you kind of have this objective or this, leverage that you're hoping that this person is going to help you realize. And, people aren't dumb, especially people that you spend a lot of time around. And people tune into those types of things, and, people can they feel that. They kind of get wigged out by that a little bit, I think.
Totally.
And so I think that, if it's like, say you're in like a working environment, right, where your relationship with whoever these people are is like entirely based on the fact that you get paid to be in the same place, and this person is really fucking good at this thing that's super challenging in your job. Like, yeah, there's an intellectual side of your mind that's going to be like, if I cozy up to this person, I'm probably going to have a way easier time doing this shit. But like, I don't feel that same dynamic exists within like your intimate, like personal relationships. Like if anything, you're the one who's going to get weeded out.
Can I hop on the floor super quick about this?
I think that's also what connects us all, is that's why we're like that. Like, we all live aligned with our own ideals and whatnot. But
For sure. Yeah, I'd agree. So with this whole thing that we're talking about here, I'm not necessarily saying that it's something that like exists between us, but I am acknowledging its existence within humans. And like Dill's saying that it doesn't manifest in like personal, like not excluding us, like in this exact our relationships, but like my argument with that is just like, what about people who marry for like money and social positioning and standing, and like romantic relationships I'd say are more intimate in some sense than like what we share, depending on who it is, of course. Like any, like if some relationships just don't stand on any legs at all, and like, but yeah, I feel like acknowledging that it exists, it also is like, it can be symbiotic, because I look at it and it's like, how about people that don't have a lot of friends, that like socially are kind of like almost inept? We can almost bias that these people don't have a lot to bring to the table most of the time. So is a relationship a take and give thing, or is it just strictly intimate, like feeling? Or is it, do you have to have something to bring to the table to elevate my position while I also do the same to you?
I think it's yes to all of those for some people, you know, if we're talking about like society in general, like, and I think it boils down to like the experiences you've had, you know, like if you're a person who's been like spurned by like those around them, like how does that saying go? Like the one like not accepted by the village, like comes back to burn the village down, something like that, right?
Something like that.
With the idea behind it being that like, you know, if all you ever face is persecution and isolation by people, well then that's the basis for your understanding of interaction with people, right? Like I'll take like a psychotherapeutic angle on it for a sec. So like cognitive behavioral therapy, shout out, CBT, one of the like most well documented and most proven forms of psychotherapy, and it essentially works on this idea of core beliefs informing actions, and those actions informing thoughts. Okay, so like there's levels to it. At you know, the upper level, you have these like kind of automatic thoughts that come to you. It's like, you know, if you're in a high performance environment and you fuck up, something happens, and you're like, oof, there's a chance this could like come back negatively on me, or I could be viewed negative from this. Negative automatic thought, for example, could be like, you know, shit, I'm going to get burned by this. I'm going to look really bad in front of my boss.
I'm going to get written up.
Yeah. You take that down a level. It's like, okay, well, what does that thought mean? Like, what's the intermediary belief in that? It's like, if I perform poorly at my job, I'm not worthy of my job. And then you take it down another level. It's like, well, what's the belief that's informing that? And it's like, if I'm not successful in the things that I do, I'm not deserving of respect from other people. And so it's like you have this way of structuring this kind of like downwards process of getting to like this core belief that sits with you, that all the way up on the surface informs this automatic subconscious reaction that your brain has. So this is going to back to, this is my commentary on what you mentioned about like the subconscious ways that you interact with people. And I think that, you know, there's a wide variety of people who've had a crazily wide variety of experiences. And so their beliefs have been shaped by those experiences, right? I think when we talk about shaping experience within the realm of like positive, like say like positive male relationships, if you're a guy, right? It's like what Nate mentioned earlier, you know, in his relationship with each of the people present here today, everybody uplifts and challenges in a way that's ultimately constructive, you know? to go back to your thought on like, oh, well, what about this person who just had a shit thing? Like, fuck, man, they probably really need a friend. Like, they probably really need a real one to, like, you know, chat with them and be like, hey, man, you know, there's something other than this shit you've been experiencing, you know? But, like, I think that in general, like, when you have those bonds and when you're a person who's fortunate enough to have been in a position to not just forge, but like carry those things with you despite those life phases, despite those changes, like you really do connect with people on values. And I think that as a natural process of that, you know, gaining and losing and modifying your relationships with people, the ones that are going to stick around are the ones that line up with that value structure. You know, you can be doing totally different things. You can be living totally different lives. But if you make sense of the world in the same way, if your reality that you both exist in is synonymous, I think that's enough.
Yeah, I think so too.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Your dissertation is complete, my friend.
Yeah, you can all see my my PhD dissertation live.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard cognitive, like CBT, kind of described as you'll have this distorted thought pattern triggered by an emotional response to something, and before you can even recognize it, it triggers this negative feedback loop of negative thoughts in your mind.
Yeah.
Usually leading back to a childhood fear or trauma.
They call
or
it
something like that.
NATs, negative automatic thoughts. And it's
Yeah.
exactly what you said.
Wow.
Yeah, well,
I've got a few of those.
well. You and me both, buddy.
Well, and that was one of the cool things about starting to study that shit, man. You know, like in my degree, it's like you gain all of these different lenses to look at life through, to like kind of perceive reality through. And it, like, in my mind, personally, it kind of helps you to become a more humble person, because not only can you assess yourself and your experiences through that lens, but you start to see and kind of revisit these experiences where you felt like you kind of got jaded or shafted by others. But then you look at their actions, their words, their emotional intensity through these other lenses, and you're like, shit, man, you know, you had this perspective given to you by all these things that happened to you, you know, maybe some of them really bad. And your response to me was to like engage with me on that level. And so I find it helps you kind of like, for me, it helps me be more forgiving in those types of situations, you know, like not hold on to any of that shit and just be like, you did the best with what you had and you probably had less than I did.
Yeah, it's interesting you're saying all this, man. Like, this is essentially what made me switch my major in, like, department in school, was, like, taking sociology and learning about the sociological perspective. That shit is crazy. It's essentially what you're talking about, but it seems like a little bit less forgiving. Like, it's not, like, understanding why so you can find, like... Oh, maybe it is. I feel like it's less emphasized on, like, understanding why so you can find compassion. And just, like, understanding why. You know? Like, the sociological perspective is that you are on, like, a game board. You are on, like, one square that has 1,000 squares on it. And, like, your job is just to keep everything at fucking arm's length. And navigate through life. Mm-hmm. You can realize natural processes, natural biases, impulses, the way the world is moving, how it's changing, and just get ahead of it. The world is a game board. You can just fully dissect it and just get ahead of it. And man, is that ever attractive to me. Like, it's just crazy. It scratches an incredible itch, man. But, like, anyways, I want to pivot here. Heavy pivot. December 10th concluded the year of hunting. A couple boys in here had their hunting licenses. Mm-hmm. I think 3 of the 4? Yeah, 3 of the 4.
Okay.
Almost a clean sweep, 4 out of 4. And we're going to talk about that. So, yeah, December 10th, end of hunting season. Let's chat about it. Reader, how was your hunting season this year?
Oh, buddy. Pretty non-existent, to be honest with you. I didn't really get out much.
Work conflict?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
We got out a few times earlier in the year, but...
Yeah, that's hard. You're pretty much gone spring, summer, fall.
The guy probably saw more wildlife than his entire life, but didn't get to shoot any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you saw some crazy stuff.
Oh, you always see stuff out.
Like
out
what?
of
Walk
work.
me through. What's the thing you thought of immediately when Nate just said you saw more wildlife right now? What's the one encounter you thought of that just popped into your head, or is popping into your head right now? Could be silly. What is it? What'd you see?
I don't know, like from up in Fort Nelson, way up north,
that popped
driving.
into my head, but it's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, no hunting.
Yeah,
but, just,
but it's
yeah,
like you're
just-
driving to work out in the bush, an hour drive, and you probably see 10 black bears, 10 deer just on the side of the highway, or you see, or last year me and Nate were up in Fort Nelson and we seen multiple herds of bison.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
just on the side of the highway,
Whoa,
and
awesome.
it's like, whoa.
That's some fucking majestic nature right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
man. That's
and-
some powerful
Or
nature
no-
right there.
and then
Bison near where? How were you guys near Pink Mountain at all?
Oh, we were
North of,
like probably
You're
like,
north of
hours
Pink
north.
Mountain.
Yeah,
okay,
3
well that's
hours
where I know a
inland.
lot of the bison hunting that we can at least access
Yeah,
through
the
limited
bison.
entry hunting is
and really
bison
where we were, where
in
we
Pink
saw him was
Mountain.
probably like an hour 15 south of the Northwest Territories border, so way up there.
Way up there.
Way up
yeah,
there.
you seen any caribou?
No, I didn't see any caribou.
Haven't seen any yet. Not even from
No.
the helicopters.
No.
Do you guys see shit from the helicopters?
Yeah, I've seen moose.
Seen moose?
Yeah,
Yeah.
bears
That's a pretty
before.
cool one.
Yeah,
Seeing a
moose and
moose from a
bear.
helicopter.
Yeah.
It's probably a weird angle
Oh
to see
man,
a moose
well,
from.
a moose from a helicopter, depending how high you are, is tiny, man.
Size
Like,
of your thumb.
Well, I mean,
You know,
you'd
like,
say
you
it's
can
still
see
pretty
it, but
big.
you can see it,
Seeing
but-
a moose from a helicopter.
That's the thing. You're up there. There's
implies
so much
it's
to
very
look
large.
at. You're missing so much. Like
Yeah.
you can't see it all. So, but
Yeah,
then
we were on one fire a few years back, and we didn't heard about this problem bear on our fire the entire tour.
Black.
And black bear, yeah.
I mean,
And like, yeah, I mean, still, like, you don't want to, like, it'll get scared of us, but you don't want it around.
my bad.
And it wasn't until like the last day we got up in the air in the helicopter, and we finally got to see it just running around on our fire down there, which neat, but you know.
Problem just getting into shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, we've had a
There's-
grizzly.
I was gonna ask,
and a
just
mother
all
cub.
black bears. Have you seen any grizzlies up there?
We've seen a grizzly and a mother cub, and a cub before,
Yeah.
which is not ideal. We've been pulled off for cougars in the area,
Yeah,
stuff like that during
Yeah.
night shifts. But
man, I met a. Sorry to just interrupt you. Just a quick cougar experience.
yeah, at the grotto.
No. About like 5 years ago, my stepdad does compulsory inspections for the government for like limited entry hunts, certain species that are like just under watch from the government. They just like to know reporting, like sheep, goats, cougars, moose, that kind of thing. Had a cougar come in from a cougar attack on a hunter.
I remember when he was here.
So, a huge investigation. Like conservation officers, police, the whole thing. Investigating. This guy shot this cougar, no tag, only him out in the bush. Like, claimed self-defense, the whole deal. At the time, like, said it just like pounced at him and he shot it. And I was like, no way. Like in my head, I'm like, there's no way. I've shotguns. I've seen cougars. I've hunted my whole lives. No way. Like they move so fast. I've seen 2 cougars. Crazily enough, you saw it with me one time when we were out hunting. Same exact spot I saw it the year before. Same piece of road, doing the same thing, jumping across. They move so fast. Anyways, flash forward this year. My fantasy group. I meet this guy. He hunts. We start talking about hunting, man. I'm like, it's the craziest thing that you've ever seen in the bush. He's like, man, about 6-7 years ago, I was attacked by a fucking cougar. And I shot it. And I was like, shut up. Like, are you the guy?
Yeah.
Tell me the story. Man. Seasoned hunter, okay? He's a seasoned hunter. Grew up around here, like shoots a good deer every year, like shooting sheep, goats, like likes hiking big shale cliffs and doing that kind of thing. He's hunting around here, Loughlean. Around Loughlean, that's a provincial park, so he was not hunting Loughlean, but he was around Loughlean, walking down a road by himself. Okay, stopped. He's like glassing this hill, binoculars, checking it out, whatever. Sitting there, just like felt weird. Looked over his shoulder, cougar just sitting, like just off the road, sitting on the hill, maybe 20-30 feet away from him, like in like little tall brush kind of thing, just sitting there watching him, right? he's thinking whatever kind of thing. Like, I've got this gun. Obviously, like, not whatever. Like, it's a cougar, but like, seasoned outdoorsman, just kind of back up. No reason to start the confrontation. Like, look to be like a juvenile cat. It's all good. He starts backing up out of there. Whatever. This thing starts following him. Like, walks down onto the road and like gets like level with him on this road. Still about a 20-foot distance. He's backing up. Like, safety off on the gun at this point. Like, backing up, kind of shouldered, but like moving backwards. Not even like looking through the scope. This thing just goes, just pounces, takes 1 bounce, 2 bounce, middle of the air, he falls, shoots. As he's falling, he like, shoots the gun. This thing skips off the top of its skull. Literally, like, doesn't go through. There's no hole in, hole out. It is just a flat skip off the top of its head, man. Opened it up, killed it. Like 5 feet away, this thing landed at its feet, at his feet. Crazy story. Like, absolutely unbelievable story. But yeah, I got to actually verify it from the guy years later. I thought that was super cool. Yeah, so you didn't get out hunting.
No.
Saw a lot of cool shit this year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get that guy in the podcast.
I would love to. I've got a few boys that hunt that I'm like trying to line up to get onto this podcast. Still, tell me about your hunting season. What'd you get up to?
Man, again, pretty short season for me. Had a bunch of really nice looks when I was out, but nothing to take home and fill the freezer with this year. Had a really great time with you going out for one day, scooting out around Scudo Lake area and dipping away a little bit into the backwoods. And yeah, man, had a couple
that
of
walk
really...
too around Sun Peaks.
Yeah. Went out by Heffley Creek, Sun Peaks area, and took a nice like back mountain trek looking for some deer.
Saw a lot of deer.
Saw a lot of deer
that day.
None of the ones we were looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful day. Lots of grouse.
Lots of
crazy amounts of grouse.
So many grouse
honestly.
this year. Yeah, it was a wonderful year for grouse.
But it was a great experience, man. You know, like I'm still totally new to the hunting experience, but like it's something else, man. Putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like.
Nate, have you ever been interested in hunting?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my grandfather did it growing up. I've shot before and stuff like that. But unfortunately, he gave all his guns away when he got old and moved out of his house. So
Yeah.
I was hoping to get some of those from him, but no luck.
Yeah. That's fair. If you get into it and get your licensing and stuff, I have one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 270.
We'll talk.
It's a great gun.
We'll talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Dill, what got you into hunting?
Man, so like I grew up in the middle of the bush. Like my hometown had like 13,000 people. Were
Episode 1 listeners know all about Terrace and the little mine development just north.
That's it, man. We were literally like, 10 hours from the Yukon. And so we're up there, man. We're northern BC. My dad was an avid fisherman, avid hunter. There was a while where he had like the 5th largest elk ever shot in BC. It was hanging up in our local angling shop, like that's mounted, sick. Like, yeah, man. Before it burned down, like it was pretty cool, dude. And so like I was kind of raised in that culture, but just being a kid from how I was where I was, like I never really got into it myself. I had other interests, didn't have any real friends that were doing it, like all that. And so it wasn't until I was like already like an adult, after meeting Joey, me and Reid, I think, actually literally took our exam at like the same time for our core licensing. Mm-hmm. And then I went on to do my PAL and RPAL as well, which for those of you unfamiliar is the firearms licensing course in BC. Incredible learning, like I thought it would be really cool, like just it's one aspect of getting into the documentation you need to get out there and be hunting proper, but like yeah, man, like so much learning that happened in that course that like I never would have perceived, but like not just in terms of like safe handling procedures and that, which is something I think everybody should know, whether you're a hunter or not, like just for your own safety. Like I think that we live in this time where like guns are kind of sensationalized, You know, like we grew up in the era where you like every movie that came out was like the super soldier with the crazy big gun going and killing shit, right?
We also grew up in the era of like our dads hunted, our uncles
yeah.
hunted, our grandparents hunted.
This
we were
is-
the last era of that.
This is less like of the hunting side and kind of just more into like, you know, firearms responsibility and
Firearms
everything like that.
exposure.
Yeah, but and like I think that, you know, through the news, through social media, you know, you see so many misuses of firearms that it's like the whole thing just becomes this big hairy consideration. And like one of the interesting things about doing like the firearms licensing is like the big focus on like, you know, before you ever even fire a bullet, you know, before you even pull a trigger, you know how to unload something. And I think that's a crazy thing to think about. You know, it's like you see this thing and it's like within 3 seconds, you can render this thing
Inoperable.
useless.
Yeah.
Inoperable. And it's like,
It is a tool.
it's a tool. And it demystifies a lot of the I think like the stigma that's been built around it, you know? And like,
Learning
yeah.
how to unload a gun.
Learning how to unload a gun, I'd argue life skill.
Physically and metaphorically, something that is very important for someone to learn.
Yeah, and we've talked about it before, Joe. It's not like you don't have to be worried or nervous around a firearm. You should be more nervous and worried about around a round, because that's what's gonna that's the
Totally.
bullet. That's the
100%.
round. You know, a gun without an unloaded gun is
Yeah.
nothing more than a fucking
Hollow stick of
shitty
metal,
hammer.
man. Hollow
Yeah.
stick of hammer. Shitty hammer, that's right.
So it's like, you know, and like just being aware of that, and you
I saw
know,
a
learning
video-
how to deal with that. And
Yeah, I saw a video the other day on that point of these two guys, like both clearly like in the States, but like also both like clearly very, very professional firearms handlers, just from like their kits to their stance to like what they're doing. They're doing speed trials timed, and like two guys clearly doing it together. And this one guy's like sitting there, and he has a round in his hand, and I don't even like put it in his pocket, and it fell out of his pocket, and it landed, and it went off when it hit the ground.
yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah.
And like the guy beside him was like, dude,
Yeah.
are you, like, he wasn't looking, he just thought it was just an accidental fire.
Yeah.
And you could just see he was shook to the core, being like, who am I shooting with?
Yeah.
And like these guys look like they've had a relationship for years, but he's like immediately was just terrified of this guy.
I got a funny
And
story
this
when I was
gun.
a kid related to that.
They saw the video. Sorry, that's the end of that.
Yeah,
You watched the
no,
video and was like, oh god, like holy smokes, it was the bullet. It's
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
gun.
No,
You know?
100%,
So anyways,
right?
sorry.
So I'm from Calgary, Alberta, originally, born and raised there. And growing up there, I was interested in skateboarding, and so I
Home
went
of the
to
big saddle.
yeah.
Joe McGinley.
You know it. Went to his hockey camp too. Got good stories about that. But I was into skateboarding, and so I went to a summer camp that was at an indoor skate park.
Yeah, yeah.
Ran by one of the local skate shops there, and it was in one of the old Curry Barracks buildings, which is like an old. Like during World War II, most of the army for Western Canada was based out of Calgary in these buildings, and they leased it out and turned it into a skate park. And we were all skating one day, and I found just like
That
a
is so
small,
sick.
Yeah, it was super cool. Just like all wooden ramps, huge mega ramps. They had like Vans skate contests there and
Yeah.
stuff. It was cool. But one day I found just like a little like 22 round sitting in the middle of the skate park. And I was like, oh, that's weird, and like showed like the camp instructor or whatever and gave it to him. Like I never really thought anything of it. I knew it was a bullet because my grandpa hunted and like he lived
Yeah.
in Rocky Mountain House, stuff like that. I'd
Yeah.
been around him. But I was a little kid, just went about my day skating. And then like 2 hours later, they like pulled everyone into the room and they're like, all right, someone like found something and brought it to our attention today. Like, you're not in trouble, but like we need to know who it was because they like forgot which one of the kids like gave it to them. And I had no idea. Like I thought it was such a minor thing that I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it.
Totally.
And so they had us sat in there for probably like half an hour before I remembered that I was the kid. I was like, oh shit, that was me. And they were like, oh yeah, good job. Here's a bunch of like free snow like ski tickets and swag and stuff. But like in hindsight, like can you imagine like there's so many ways a skateboard could hit that, or like the trucks could drag against
Oh, yeah,
that. Like,
totally.
a bullet could actually misfire at a kid's skate parks.
But even like yes, 100%, the possibilities there, which is just so crazy. But like, well, you learn about this in your firearms course, that like not to like shade down your story, but it's just like so people who may not be exposed to bullets, like, or guns, the chance of that bullet firing, and like in the story that I told of this guy having that bullet fall and going off, that is a 1 in a million chance. Like, these bullets are designed with, and these guns, and they're designed specifically for guns. You can't just go buy a hunting bullet. It's like for a specific caliber, sometimes for a specific chamber, a specific model of a gun. Like, it's deep, so it's like, and it's made for the firing pin inside of that specific caliber to hit at a specific angle, spot. Like, I shoot my 6.5, the hole, like the little dent on the back of that, on the back of the cartridge, same spot every single time. And it's like, so yeah, like, for that to like actually go off, it's a fool's chance. But like, man, yeah, no, like, that'll just teach you, like, dude, I'd rather fucking, like, there's just no way I'd ever take a chance. Like, Reid knows this, like, going out hunting with me, Dale knows this, like, I'm a pretty goofy guy in general, but like, man, like, when it comes to like hunting and firearms and like stuff like that, like, I don't know, he's like, it's just like, it's a privilege.
Oh yeah.
And that's the difference, I think, between here living in Canada and living in the States, where it's a fundamental right. Like, a right, you can't take that from me. Get fucked. You know, like, a privilege though, man, like, it is a privilege to be able to go into our backcountry and like, you carry a firearm, man. Yeah, and like, be able to go into all of this unexplored area and like attempt to kill an animal to harvest, for like sustenance. And I think that's just like, that's a privilege, man. Like, and like, a lot of guys get bent out of shape, and like, I'm pro gun, man. Like, I think that like, we're making a lot of wrong turns politically right now with the gun buyback program. Like, that's I don't think everybody should have a gun, man, by any means, but like, I don't think this gun buyback program's great financially, just at all. Like, the idea, sure, awesome, like, but no, it's not gonna work, so that sucks. And it's like, but yeah, I'm pro gun, man, but I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely way more like pro common sense, and under the belief of that this is a privilege before anything else, first and foremost. Like, hunting, fishing, any firearm related activity, like, yeah, man,
it's always respect
like,
first, respect and responsibility.
Well, and to kind of build on that idea of like, you know, maybe what separates Canada from the States from like a cultural perspective around it, man, so simple to just lose total accessibility to that avenue. Like, you talked about the difference between a privilege and a right. So for those of you that haven't undergone any of this, let me break it down for you. How easy it is to halt someone from getting a firearms license, which is the only legal way in Canada to buy ammunition, obtain firearms, be in possession of, holding something that a friend of yours has when you don't have your license. Like, anything at all about even being involved in that world, this is how easy it is. So when you're doing, this is after you pass your licensing exam. So you've done your curriculum. A certified instructor has said, yep, you can demonstrate all of the skills, unloading, safe operation, all of that.
And it's an RCMP certified instructor as well. They're designated and placed in certain districts.
Yeah, and they have to submit all this to the RCMP. So like, level 1, you have a criminal record? Sorry, dude, not happening. If this is something where it's like maybe a minor thing way later in your life, yeah, there might be some workaround, but it's like, you have anything where like there's even a hint, a whisper that you're like an irresponsible person that shouldn't be in having firearms.
Is there anything more than a speeding ticket?
You're done. You're out of the ranking. You're never ever getting a legal firearms license in Canada, okay? Second level, you pass all your exams, right? You do all your shit. You have to get multiple references on this of people that have known you outside of family. So, personal or professional relationships you have that have known you for more than, I think it's 5, it could be 10 years. So like, people that know you and have known you for a long time basically have to vouch for you. The RCMP will call them and be like, hey, I'm Officer so-and-so calling about Dylan,
You're vouching to our federal policing
Yeah.
agency. Like it's no joke.
he's applied for firearms licensing and he's listed you as, you know, a reference to vouch for him. Do you think it's safe for him to have firearms? They say yes. Okay, boom. Now you're past that checkpoint.
Have you given a reference?
Oh yeah, I did have to do all
You did?
that when I
Okay,
did my
yeah.
stuff. Multiple.
No. Have you given a reference?
I haven't provided a reference for
Man,
someone
so
else
the questions
yet.
are actually deeper. They hit you with, would you trust this person with a firearm around you? Would you trust this person with a firearm around your family? Do you think this person would commit a violent crime with a firearm? And you have to be like, absolutely not. Like, this guy is straight up hinged.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not this guy's locked into the good shit.
Yeah,
But
good stuff.
So say you do all of that, okay? You've got your references in there done. Get this. Anybody that you live with. So in my case, my wife. Let's say if it's a random stranger, you know,
girlfriend.
their live-in partner, their girlfriend. You have to say if you're in a relationship at all. So remember, you've already passed your exams. You've already showcased safe usage. You've already had 2 passes of 2 vetted references. If the person who lives with you says that they have reservations about you having a firearm
Or has lived with you.
or has lived with you in the past, if they're not currently there, they can, so if it's like, say, like an ex, for example, they can still be referenced in this if they were a major part of your life for this term. If they say no, or if they say, yeah, I don't know about that. Like
He got a little mad while we were dating.
Yeah. He said some things that I don't think he would do, but like kind of scared me when he said them. You've done all these other checkpoints. That final piece gets the negative,
Gone.
you're out.
Yeah.
And so like when we talk about accessibility to firearms
I'm
in
going to
Canada.
add one more thing
yeah,
in
yeah.
here too. When you're a registered firearms owner in Canada, you have a daily background check ran on you. The Canadian government runs over 3.5 million background checks per day. And if you have any new charges, anything pop up, immediately they come and take your guns.
And so on another level from that, so you get all this right, your live-in partner's like, yep, nope, they're great. So now you're official, you're registered. You have your firearms license called your PAL, okay? There's this external certification you can do called the RPAL. I've done it. It essentially...
What does the PAL stand for? Possessions Acquisitions License.
And the R stands for restricted. So there are certain firearms that you have to have a special designation to operate, i.e. things like you can only use these in things like a shooting range, for example, like a dedicated shooting range, target shooting range competition. And it basically covers things smaller than the length that you get in the PAL, i.e. things like handguns, for example. Okay?
Sorry. Handguns, no longer under our PAL designation. It is illegal to own, operate, store, keep, fire a handgun in Canada. Our PAL is just for certain guns, not handguns though. Handguns in general, blanket ban.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. That's changed since I did my licensing with it.
Yeah.
Obviously need to update that. But essentially,
It's tough.
if I have any restricted firearm in my possession, that is, if I was to inherit one from, a grandparent who's passing away, giving away their stuff, anything like that. If I'm moving, so if my physical address is changing, not only do I have to update my records to show that with the government, but I have to directly call the RCMP a minimum of 2 weeks before my moving day to say that I'm an RPAL holder, I'm moving from this address to this address, and I will be in transit with that during this duration. Mm-hmm. So you can't even move this around your town, your city, without a direct oversight.
As far as I was
from the
concerned, it's
RCMP.
also to and from the range.
Yeah, you can only transfer
No,
to and from
you
the
have
range.
to call to and from the range. Do you not? No? Okay, cool. Okay.
But essentially, there's so much oversight, and if you do one thing with, like I say, even a whisper of erring on the other side, you're next. You're done. You're out of that.
Gotta go buy a crossbow.
And when you talk about things like fines, it's like $10,000 for a first offense and loss of your licensing. So it's like, there's a lot of reasons. It's all this to say, there's a lot of reasons to do things right. And there are even more reasons to never do something wrong.
There's also a lot of reasons to do it. Like, all that thing, it's like, that sounds like a lot, but like, if you're just like Nate said, common sense. Like, it's all super common sense stuff. Like, what a privilege.
Yeah.
To be able to just get a gun and be able to go and do things with it and like explore places in BC. And like, people have this argument, man, like, we have a lot of people voting on gun laws that like live in major cities, forgetting that our country is the second biggest country on earth when it comes to landmass. We have Canadian citizens. If you truly give a fuck about Canada, you care about everybody. We have Canadian citizens, and like a decent amount. Like, I'm not like we're a small population of like 40 million almost now, I'd say. Like, we probably have like close to like 80,000 people that live with like at least 100 kilometers away from a grocery store.
Yeah, I think we're top 3 most armed countries in the world per capita or something like that.
I believe it.
It's like us, or it's like obviously America. Finland, surprisingly.
Yeah, Finland made my gun.
Nice,
The 6.5 Creedmoor. They're incredible firearm makers.
And that's us or Russia, I think, and like
Yeah.
some weird ones. But
Yeah.
America is also like the top 5 combined. So it's
Yeah, and I mean, I believe it. I think Russia, but you gotta look at it. It's all like geographical, really. Like, man, like I was going, like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I would argue 40 million people in this country, gotta be 80,000 people living at least 100 kilometers away from a grocery store. What does that mean, man? Like, dude, when we were in New Brunswick, holy fuck, we were like just driving in like towns, like literal towns. I want to say like 500-600 people, man. We're like an hour and a half from like any city, dude, with like an actual grocery store. And like, my brother's like, where do these people get their food, man? And I'm like, Kev, like, they kill moose. Like they eat moose, and they fish salmon out of that sick river down there. Like, they're probably so good, and like all these people have 5 acres, man. They probably grow so many veg in the summer and the spring. Like, they're good, man. Like,
Sellars.
yeah. But here's the thing: you're trying to tell them they can't have a gun.
Yeah, it's crazy. Even in the industry, like mine locators, people in our industry as well, like they used to all have handguns.
Wilderness permits. Yeah, the wilderness protection permits. You're allowed. You still can, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
No.
We have a mutual buddy who he was a line locator or a surveyor back in the day.
Yeah.
Less than a decade ago, I would say. And like one of the rules was you're coming into the area to work, you call ahead, you say, hey, I have this, yada,
Totally.
yada, yada.
Yep.
Yeah, and so we called ahead, and then they're
Because they're working in, just to clarify for anybody that may have stumbled upon this, that's not from us. They're working in where? What type of conditions?
Middle of swamp, muskeg, boreal forest.
How far away from like a hospital?
Multiple hours.
How long of a helicopter ride?
An hour to an hour and a half helicopter ride. And
Yeah.
that's if you have the helicopter on standby.
So these are guys that are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you're in the
Northern British Columbia, northern Alberta, northern Manitoba. Grizzly bear country.
Yeah. And so they called this guy in, show up the next day to do their work, and the cop shows up. And it's like, yes, we're actually not allowed to have these anymore, and confiscated it from him right there.
Really?
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, I don't want to like just like subject this cop's mind to my feelings, but like I would have to bet that this guy just did not believe what he was doing.
Well, he's a northern cop, so I'm sure he understands it too.
He would also want a gun if he was out there.
Oh,
So that's
he
the thing.
has one.
It's just that he has one. That's the thing. So it's like, you know, like I would imagine like what a tough position that like I'd imagine way over half of our police force is in right now, being like, what is even going on?
Yeah.
We have good men out doing jobs nobody wants to do.
Yeah.
You know, that just like can't look out for themselves.
Maybe that's like a great transition point too, talking about these just like absolutely wild jobs. Hey, Grosh Chats listeners. If you have an older relative, someone you think would benefit from getting their fitness future returned to them, you always reach out to X-Have Fitness. That's a one-on-one service that I run where I'll come right to your loved one's home. We meet them, learn about their physical history, and then we develop a program for them unique to their goals, whether that be returning to activity, whether that be just a general pain-free existence, or whether that be improving their strength and their mobility to the point where they can live life at a more fulfilled level.
At XHAB Fitness Rehabilitation, we specialize in safe, guided fitness programs designed specifically for seniors, whether they're recovering from injury, managing chronic pain, or simply wanting to stay strong and mobile. Movement is more than exercise. It's independence, it's confidence, and it's living life on their own terms.
If you're interested, you can always reach out 250-641-3604 or through email at xhabcam@gmail.com. That's xhabkam@gmail.com. We'll be happy to meet with you. To pivot into that right now, like, man, you boys have both worked in wildfire for like several years now in different capacities. I want to know, man, because this is just from the outside, from a civilian. Like, this just seems like the craziest thing for me, and I want to know your boys' perspective. Like, they're choppering you in, okay? Mm-hmm. You're flying over these fields of fucking smoke and red, and it's just like immolation. You know, you're cruising in over this shit, the smoke breaks, and you're in this clearing. You know, they're dropping off you and your team, and it's like, all right, guys, you're the ones that are gonna fucking do what you can to make sure this shit gets contained as best it fucking can. We'll be back to pick you up in whenever. Like, what the fuck is going through your mind when you're in that position? Maybe talk about it from like how it was when you first started, maybe like say your first or second trip in, versus like what your perspective is now.
I'm going to lead into this question too and add on to it. I want to hear it from the perspective of like what it was like graduating the ranks. Because I did 2 days with Nate. 2 days with Nate, I think.
I don't think I was there.
No?
Same fire, but you were with a different crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were Sieves.
I was Sieves, yeah, Sieves. Oh, dude. Okay, and like, honestly, the most insane shit I've ever seen in my life. So disorganized. The guys that were on there looked like they were dragged in from underneath the bridge and like had no business being trusted with like such a serious job. So, how and what was it like in your guys' terms? Just like, yeah, I don't know, ripping through the ranks and like getting to the point where you're just fucking choppering into like hell.
Yeah, I'll let Reid start because he got into it first.
Running hoses, the choppering into hell.
Getting the sprinks going for all the houses.
I don't know. It's kind of like maybe the first time you look down and before you're in there, you see it as hell. But to me, it's just fun. You know,
Yeah.
you're just gonna, like you said, go down and do what you can because you can't do much sometimes. You know, like fire's gonna do what it's gonna do. Like weather's gonna do what it's gonna do. But yeah, I don't know. It's a cool feeling when you're looking around. You see all the boys and gals, and you're ready to go and get after it. Go suffer for a while. You know, just go down, do what you can, control what you can control.
What was the difference between your first fire and that you ever went on and the last fire? Just everything, full, from like lodging to transportation to like just in general your day to day to like what kind of activities, what kind of fires you were even on, from the first one you ever went on to the one you just got back from. With as much detail as you can get.
Well, it's like probably like just like the position I was in, like it was on a different type of crew, and
What
that
type? Like what?
would have been like
was-
structural protection. So mostly just, you know, protecting values, structures, that kind of stuff, and focusing on that. Whereas now it's like type 1 work, so it's like kind of more frontline stuff like that, and just really down and being the first and last line of defense, I guess you could say.
Like I mean, people thinking about this, like they hear structural protection, like they're kind of probably just imagining you just like bursting into people's houses and putting fires out and saving ladies and cats and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
was that what that was? or
No,
what
that's like more so municipal fire department stuff. Like
Right.
we were kind of there to make sure structures never caught on fire, you know.
Except for that one time.
Except for the one time.
It was kind of like that.
But you know, and like just kind of be the prevention, you know, make sure it never happens in the first place.
like setting up fire guards.
fire guards sometimes, mostly like water systems, putting water on buildings, setting up sprinklers, stuff like that.
Would you say that's like, I don't know, like what I was doing for those 2 days was bullshit? It was grunt work. Was it like that? Was it a lot of grunt work? Just like you're literally just dragging hoses and cutting fire guards?
Before we get into that, though, I think it's important just to touch on that structural aspect. Like, man, you think about it this way. That's someone's home. Or that's someone's business, you know? Like, shit happened. And now they're forced to flee from this place that's this, like, protective zone for them. You know? They're completely leaving it all. Like, there's no way they can be there, right? They're out. They send you boys in and girls in, right? You guys are the line of defense, doing everything you can within your time frame to make sure that that safety zone is something that they can go back to. Like, that's a pretty crazy experience to have, man. Like, I'm not sure what other things mimic that in day-to-day life. Like, that level of responsibility where it's like, if I do this right, it could be the difference. Like, me being here today could be the difference between someone not having a home to come back to.
Yeah, and that was the fun part about structural protection. That was the more meaningful part, is that we're working with the public and people's livelihoods. And you get to see that direct result. So you see a fire rip through an area, and the structures you set up on survive. That kind of takes some of the doubt out of your mind and reinforces that the work you're doing is worthwhile. And that's awesome. And it's, on the other end, the work we do now, it's the perception of what we do from the public is a lot like what you just described, flying in on a helicopter, going in, putting out the fire. And those are the days we dream of, but that's maybe 1% of what our days actually look like. And so it's easy to kind of lose sight of the bigger picture sometimes and feel like we're making as much of a difference as we actually are. Where, as a structural protection firefighter, we got that direct feedback, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, firefighting is really interesting. Takes you to some really cool places. I think a big reason why Reid and I were attracted to it was it's one of the few industries and places where like your hard work and your merit is recognized, and you can kind of move up that way. If you don't have a formal education, it's a great outlet for that. You get to be outside. And as far as, I think Joey just had a question about like, who are you responding to as a grunt, yada, yada, yada. Well, Reid and I kind of showed up together. Reid actually, so a little backstory, moved to Kamloops, left Kamloops, came back, met Reid. I was painting houses at the time. The owner of that company, he had a family emergency and just shut the business down all of a sudden. Hey, what's up, man?
Sorry, my dog's letting us know.
She's joining the garage chat.
Yeah, she had some things to say there.
But yeah, so painting fell through, and it was a really bad wildfire season, and my new friend Reid here was telling me about how he was on this structural protection crew. And I just kind of reached out on a whim and was like, hey, do you need any more boys? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. And so I did my courses, paid some money, got those done, and I think within like a week I was heading out to my first fire. No idea what to expect at all. Like, I'm expecting the craziness, kind of like you were just describing and whatnot, super intimidating. On my first fire, proceeded to get the worst food I've ever had in my entire life. So the food was awful. We were getting like cardboard hash browns for breakfast, where I think like a cereal box would have been more nutritious, and like turkey and gravy, and the gravy was just clear. And it was just clear. And it was like thick water. And then one day I got what I thought was a peanut butter and jam sandwich. I grabbed this, and I'm like, sick. Like, you can't fuck up a peanut butter and jam sandwich. Like, finally something just like I can somewhat enjoy this. Comes 1 p.m. I go whip out my sandwich, and it was jam and a Kraft single stuck between 2 pieces of Wonder Bread.
And he just hucked it in the bush. He was so mad.
Good life.
I was just done.
You gotta be fucking kidding me!
Every time I think we have a bad lunch, I think about that day.
Yeah. And
no
then,
lunch is bad compared to that.
I went back to my tent, fell asleep, and I woke up the next morning, and I don't react well to bug bites. and something had bit me in my sleep, and it looked like somebody kicked me in the jaw. I don't know if you know Quagmire from Family Guy. Like half of my face was Quagmire from Family Guy.
Yeah, I got a bad case of the mumps.
Like, I went to breakfast, and like the chef like looked up to ask me what I wanted. He was like, "Whoa!" So I was like, "Yeah, boss, I think like there's something wrong with me. I gotta go see a doctor." And so I had to leave early, go and get antibiotics. And for some reason, I wanted to come back, and got back into it with Reid. Did structural protection for a few years. Kind of fell out of it because with contract work, it's not full time. It's just only whenever there's fire, and so it's kind of hard to have a life living that kind of lifestyle. And so I fell out of it for a few years. COVID happened, yada yada yada. But what wildfire did for me especially was kind of reinforce fitness, self-care, taking care of yourself, and just living an active lifestyle. And so I always stuck with that, stayed in contact with Reid, and then I just decided, fuck it.
If you're interested in advertising on the Garage Chats podcast, please reach out to our team at garagechatspod@gmail.com. Thank you.
Just continue to work hard and form these bonds and enjoy the outdoors if we still can and thrash our bodies around.
So like on that note, like I think it's crazy. This is like something that, I'm happy you mentioned the fitness aspect of it, because I think you boys are being super humble about like, the integration process and getting involved in that. But like, shit's not easy, man. Like you boys got to go through some pretty crazy like fucking physicals. Like you got to prove that like if it comes down to it, man, you guys are you're going to be the ones that get out of there. And like you guys are both in great shape already. Like, Nate, I think especially too, just we chat so much about like, weightlifting and other shit like that, obviously Reader's a fucking freak too, but like just me and Nate chat so much about it, right? Like
tiny bitch. Look at this guy.
We're sending don't progress pics. We're sending progress pics back and forth and whatnot, but like it's a crazy road you boys walk, man. Like heavy bags, you're carrying 40-50 pounds of gear when you're going around, like
on a light day.
You're tromping into shit that like advanced hikers would be like taking their time getting into, and you boys are like
running
boots on the
fire.
ground getting to the next spot to bust and do more work. Like it's not for everybody, man.
And to provide some context to that laughter there, Reid is a natural freak of nature athlete. Dylan and I have to work our asses off just to look slightly athletic, and so we have to put in a little bit more work, and so we talk to each other about it.
Yeah, man, this guy's got absolutely crazy genetics coming out of it. I think we can't forget that,
Yeah.
He's always one of those guys with stretchy skin.
Yeah.
Just super athletic, stretchy skin freak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of look at your guys' job like just like sheep hunting every day. Like you essentially strap on like a 65-pound pack and just go up a mountain and then back down a mountain, and sometimes you have to go back up that mountain again, and like just do that every single day for 6 months straight, essentially.
It'd be easier if it was every day. The hard part is when we sit for 2 weeks at a time sometimes on some fires up north.
Yeah.
Where, if fire behavior is too big, we can't go anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
And so we sit, and we eat crappy camp food or A&W.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's, okay, time to go. Like, you've been sitting for 6 days straight, now you need to go and perform. That's the hardest part, honestly.
Looking for a quick sponsorship, maybe. What's your favorite A&W order? What's your go-to?
Jeez, I actually owe Reader, is it a grandpa
Yeah,
burger?
you're
or an
a
uncle?
grandpa burger.
Yeah, so I think I owe Reid like a 3-patty burger that I lost on the odds. So next time I go to A&W, shout out the grandpa burger. That'll be my order.
Really? Crazy.
That's my burger of choice too from Dub.
Grandpa burger.
That's crazy.
That's
choice.
crazy. Holy.
Yeah,
More of a
bro.
double matzo. but-
And
Double
some-
matzo for
yes.
Reader.
Matzo for sure.
Some
Yeah.
places they don't even put it on the menu, man.
Yeah,
like
well-
you'll look at all the things, you'll be like, grandpa burger, and the person on the other side's like smiles. They're like, yeah, no problem.
Oh, I'm also a matzo guy. We're 3-1
Alright,
here.
alright,
3-1
alright,
matzo.
alright.
That double buddy burger with cheese, extra cheese sauce. Had too many of those recently, if you couldn't tell. Okay, the laughter was way too strong. That was not warranted.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the physical stuff with the job is just, you just get used to that shit. Like, it just is what it is. Like, I don't know, like, some days it's harder than others, but, like, that's not the hard part of the job, you know?
Well,
hard part's being gone. It's like
Okay.
losing time with, like, other people that you care about, you know?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not at home with the lady, you're not at home with your buddies sitting in the garage chatting, you know? You're
Tell the listeners about that, because like you guys do some pretty crazy shift work in this shit, you know, like
yeah, like 14 on, like 3 off, 14 on, 4 off, like it
For
kind of
the
depends.
fires as well, and then like we're based somewhere remote where we don't live, is where we work out of. So Monday through Friday, we work 9 to 5, and then we go and live on work housing. And so essentially, it's a 1 week shift where you don't really get any work-life balance whatsoever, and then you might get thrown on standby, so you're not even allowed to go home on the weekends sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a big trade-off for sure.
Yeah.
I heard you boys were allowed Xboxes though. It's
100%.
not too bad.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
too
Could be
bad.
worse.
I heard
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a sick weight room there.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
could be worse.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Paid to work out.
I heard
once
Reader can
a-
bring his
hour
bow
a
up there
day.
and shoot
I
targets.
can bring the bow. I brought the bow up. Yeah.
Sounds like
Little
a pretty
archery
awesome
setup
job you
there.
guys have though. It's thankless work, which is crazy, you know?
100%, yeah.
Well, and you mentioned too, Reader, like, you know, as nice as it can be, however nice they can make these accommodations you have as this temporary housing, you know, the cost of being there is everything else you could be doing with the ones close to you, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And I think that's something that doesn't really get, you know, talked about a lot when you think about that. You know, I'm sure that a lot of the people you guys work with, like the majority, I would guess, are like, you know, people not too dissimilar from yourselves, like young people, you know, unmarried, probably no kids, like people who's at a point where like they can go and live somewhere else for 2 weeks or more out of a month and at a time. And it's like, okay, that this is my life till I get back. But, you know, like, I think that's a big cost that we don't think about, you know, in BC, you know, all across North America, right? The fires have just been crazy these last couple of years. Like, it seems like there's no place that kind of gets left untouched, you know. If it's not crazy if it's not crazy on the West Coast, it's crazy on the East Coast. If it's not crazy in Canada, it's crazy in the States.
We're gonna have
Like-
an exceptionally bad fire year this year, I think. We have no snow.
So far, none. Yeah, a lot of moisture, but no snow so far.
Yeah.
On fires, sorry, continue though.
No, yeah, like just chatting about that, you know, like with this incredible amount of potential for damage, you know, and you guys being part of the body of people that are responsible, you know, being paid to go out there and do the best you can to stop that. I think it's an important thing to acknowledge that, like, the cost of that positive activity is the personal cost of that time away. You know, you're not spending time with your partner, your girlfriend, your family, your friends. It's like, you know, you're being compensated, but it's like you're working your ass off. You're going out to these places that are like essentially in the middle of nowhere, right? And it's like you're on the line for it, you know? You're the line of defense, like...
Protecting assets, like before it was protecting housing, personal assets. Now you're protecting like the nation's assets.
Cut blocks,
Yeah.
private ownership.
Private ownership, big
Public
trees,
labels.
big mining operations, big, you know,
Reserve land.
reserve land. Like,
Shit that, if it went bottoms up, would be catastrophic for the people that rely on
and
those,
nobody
you know?
thinks about it.
Yeah.
It's thankless work. That's the craziest part again, you know?
Yeah, and it's tough too because unfortunately wildfire is it's become politicized. Whether or not you want it tied to climate change, I mean, whether or not you want to argue if it's man-made or not, our summers are getting hotter and our fires are
Lasers,
getting-
buddy. There's lasers that are firing up our forests.
You
I
can
heard.
find some.
I heard that.
But regardless, the fires are getting worse. The summers are getting hotter. But it's also, the fires are something that goes away. So they get a lot of attention while they're here. But they can also just wait for them to disappear. And they leave the news cycle and we can forget about it until they're back again.
Unless they burn down an entire city that we make millions and hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year, Jasper.
Yeah.
Because we just uncheck it and maybe unfund all of our firefighters and because we politicize it.
Yeah. Yep.
Alberta first.
And then we bring them all back in a rush.
Yeah, we bring them all back in a rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy, but it's you know, like I was really excited to have you boys on because like I feel like what you guys do is just like it's so different, from so many other types of jobs, even other things in like, you know, environmental and resource protection type stuff, you know? Like, you boys are getting out there, like, fuck, what's the closest other thing to doing that? Like, being a CO? Like, being out in the middle of the bush trying to, you know, make sure shit's going right, nobody's fucking around, like, you know, like, it's pretty wild, man. And, like, cool opportunities that can exist for a person getting that type of experience, you know? Like, I think about people transitioning from doing something like that to, like, having a career in, like, a municipal fire team or, like, you know, ambulatory fire team, which, like, what I understand is a lot of the norm. It's, like, people will double as, like, a medical as they are, like, a firefighter. And so, like, you know, great opportunities, but, like, man, not for everybody. And, like, there's a bar to entry that, like, you know, make sure that the people that are going to go out there are the ones that are going to be ready to crush, you know?
Yeah, and there's kind of like a self-weeding out process. Like, if it's not for you, you probably won't be there for very long, you know? It's hard enough to, like, start and get on somewhere, but once you've been doing it for a year or two, then lots of the people that it's not for them, they don't want to keep doing it, and that's totally fine, but that it also, like, makes sure that everybody who wants to be doing it and everybody loves what we're doing is everybody's together, you know, and it kind of just forms this, like, really special thing where
Everybody's bought in.
Everybody's doing it for the right reasons, and, you know, we're all there for each other at the end of the day, so.
Well, and that's an interesting point, because I think that kind of ties into what we started chatting about today with, like, that idea of, you know, how do people form bonds? Why do people form those bonds?
In the fire.
In the fire.
Whoa.
In the fire. Man.
Whoa, full circle moment. Hey, fellas. Thanks for coming along for the trip.
Thanks for
I'm
having
just
us,
kidding, I'm
boys.
kidding. I don't know. Are we done?
I think we're done, boys. That's gonna be a great spot to tie it off on.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for coming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Reid
Garage
and Nate,
chat was great.
It was a great garage chat. Second one down. Even more to come in the new year. Lots to look forward to there.
Yeah, it's just crazy the amount of garage chats we've had. Now there's this thing sitting here recording. It's kind of wild, but there's just been so many of them, you know. Just another day in the garage.
Just putting that to you, Reader is one of the founders of garage chats without even knowing it. Like, he's been here for as many garage chats. He's been here for as many garage chats as Dylan I himself, man. Since the first one, I swear.
What's
But,
also crazy is, like, I couldn't tell you the last time we were all in our room together.
Ah, what a beautiful thing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
What
like
a
nothing's
beautiful
ever
thing.
changed. I don't think we've ever been in a garage together. So
Yeah.
that's a first we can check off our list.
Well, and it's funny, like, one of the big inspirations for this, I'll tie this off quick and then send us off, like, you know, like Joe said, used to have garage chats all the time, you know, again, talking back about that idea of, like, phases of your life lining up, you know, it lined up. We were able to spend a lot of time, had some great chats, man, had some, honestly, for me personally, is like some crazy life-changing, like, reroute chats. So I believe in it, you know.
Right here.
Chat right here, and chatting about what we did, opening up, you know, about having those connections with one another, having time to have those, like, real life, high context, you know, intimate communications with one another. It's so important. And, like, one of the big reasons we wanted to start garage chats was, like, with life getting so complex, you know, Joe and I had less and less of those opportunities to kind of connect with each other in that way. And so this idea of having this time, this dedicated time where we could come in and chat and, you know, now bring in other people to kind of share in that experience. And like Nate just said, you know, can't remember the last time we all would have been together like this, just like getting to chat and to break it all down. And, you know, that's what it's all about. You know, we don't plan any of this. It's free flow. It's off the cuff. We don't edit any of this. And, yeah, thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I think that it's a wrap on Garage Chat too, fellas.
Garage chat too. Appreciate it, boys.
Thanks for having us, fellas.